Hello everyone, this is David, Fairly Secret Music. Gonna do a little bit of a different video today. I'm gonna go through about 6 different books that I have, and I've purchased these within the last, well, probably the last 4 weeks, I think. So the first one is, I'm gonna do these in order of how I purchased them, and this first one is Black Metal Evolution of the Cult by Dale Patterson. And this was an easier one to find. This is one that you can find in the US. He goes through all the genre's 3 decades journey through nearly 600 pages of photographs and interviews with members of Venom, Merciful Fate, Bathory, Hellhammer, Celtic Frost, Volcano, Blasphemy, Samael, Rotting Christ, Necromantia, Vaughn, Tormentor, Hell's Master's Hammer, Beherit, Mayhem, Thorns, Dark Throne, Thou Shalt Suffer, Emperor, Gehenna, Gorgoroth, Treldom, Cradle of Filth, Dimmelberg Gear, Mutilation, Marduk, Funeral Mist. Oh, I didn't realize they did Funeral Mist in here. Shining, Graveland, Infernum, Behemoth, Enslaved, Isengard, Storm, Ulver, Windir, Nagura, Budget, Hades, Primordial, Arcturus, Mains, Flurity, Psy, Dothemsgard, Mysticism, Borum, Black Lodge, Fen, and many, many more. I suppose I could have just went like this and shown you what, but, so, let's go through this. I am 163 pages into it. I am on the Fist in the Face of Christianity, the Norway section, part 2. So, what do you get in this book? There is a lot of good information if you are interested in this genre. They talk about kind of like the roots of evil. Let's see. Then there's a Venom section. The first few are kind of bands that kind of birthed Venom or black metal. So you have Venom, Merciful Fate, Bathory, Hellhammer, Celtic Frost, all the ones that you would think. And then there's the first wave of black thrash, which they talk about Sodom and Destruction and Creator and Slayer to a little extent. So then it goes on into some of the first black metal bands that kind of could be considered black metal, and then you get to like the Mayhem stuff, where that's really where the 90s stuff starts coming up. There are some pages of photographs, color photographs right in the middle. But yeah, if you're interested in this genre, which I find quite fascinating. I'm a big Cradle of Filth. I love their first few albums. There are a few bands where I just don't like the production so much, but yeah, so that is that book. And then I do have an Ulver book on the way, but that has yet to arrive. And this is by the same author as that first one. This is Black Metal, The Cult Never Dies, Volume 1. And this goes on to interview a lot of the more recent bands. So I will just actually let you look at what's in the contents rather than reading it off. And whereas the first one was a soft cover, this is actually a hardcover. I ordered this through Decibel. This is one of the numbered ones, so I believe they only said they only had like 80 left, but it was $29.95. I've yet to really even, well, I haven't started this one at all because I'm not done with the first one. So the first one is the only one I've started reading. Gosh, I still have that Terrorizer magazine. So, Black Metal, Volume 1 of The Cult Never Dies. So, I wonder if you will do a Volume 2. And the last of the black metal books that I have is USBM, which is a unfortunate title. A Revolution of Identity in American Black Metal. This is by Daniel Lake and forward by none other than Celtic Frost himself, Thomas Gabriel Warrior. I once read his biography and I've not recovered from the bad writing. So we have pioneers of the 90s. So a lot of this is all US black metal. So a lot of bands that are somewhat familiar. Some that are not. So what was that one? The Dawn's Early Spite, pioneers in the 90s. And then you have Broad Slights, Bright Scars. California ushers in a new millennium. The Chicago Warriors. Proudly We Hail. Bands breaking across the continent. Oh. I was surprised that Agalloch are considered black metal, because I never really considered them really black metal, but all right. So this goes up through like 2020, because this this has a 2020 copyright. So this is super, super current. So you will get information on some bands in here that, you know, I didn't think they were going to even talk about. I have looked through this one. This, again, is another Decibel. This one was a little bit more expensive. This was $34.95. That first one I showed was, I believe, $27.95 where I purchased it. All right. So, I've got 3 more for you. So those are the 3 black metal books that I purchased. I've wanted this for some time, but I just kind of put off getting it. And the beautiful thing with this is now I can read this while listening to the discography, which is what I'm going to do with the Ulver book when I get that also, because now I have almost all of the Ulver. I have everything by Moonspell. And this is a book by The Cult Never Dies and Crypt Publications. And so I had to actually order the next 3 books on eBay. I could go through their direct site, but the shipping was like $30 more. So I went through the eBay listing. I actually got them all 3 today, and it was DHL shipping from UK to the United States, and it actually got here about 20 days earlier than I expected it to. So let me kind of straighten that out. So this is basically Wolves Who Were Men, the history of Moonspell. And there are quite a few pictures in here. This, I'm very excited about this one and the Ulver book, because it will be just nice to be able to listen through a complete discography while I read this. It should take me that long. I am not a super fast reader. And there are some color photos in here also. And if you're not familiar with Moonspell, I highly recommend checking out their Irreligious album. Actually, I think there is yep. So out of their discography that I love right now, I really like Extinct. What is that one called? I can't remember. Whatever this one is called, I can't remember what the title is, and it's such small print, and it's hard to read. But so that Irreligious is fantastic, but Sin is technically my favorite by them, which is very bizarre that that's my favorite, because it sounds absolutely nothing like any of the rest. Think of My Dying Bride's 37.4 whatever percent complete. It's just their standout album where they went kind of complete 180 from what they were doing. But yeah, so there's some other books through this company. Check them out. They have a lot of cool books. I could have got all four. This, the two Doom Metal, and the Ulver through them, but I didn't realize there was an Ulver book when I was ordering. So, Wolves Who Were Men, The History of Moonspell. And that's a big book, weighing in at 422 pages. That doesn't even include all of this stuff. So the last two I have here are a bit bigger, and they're hardcover. It's the Doom Metal Lexicanum, and this is basically a Doom Metal encyclopedia. So the first one covers like early bands. This was originally released in 2017 as a paperback. So this version includes new layout and extra pages, plus updated discographies. Within these pages, you will find stories of both well-known pioneers of Doom and newer acolytes, tracking the growth of the genre all the way to the present day. This book guides the reader through each band's discography, frequently including interviews with the artists involved. So let's crack this open. This is kind of the first time I am really taking a look at it, because it arrived today when I was working. So so you get a Doom Metal introduction. I don't know if you can see that. Let me kind of turn this and then kind of spin this up a little bit. So you get a Doom Metal introduction, chapter A through Z, Witchcraft and Black Magic in Doom, Cathedral Interview, Lovecraftian Influences Doom, and the author, picture credits, and index. So, you get a few forewords in here, information written by the author, intro to Doom, and then it is basically kind of like Martin Popoff's books for heavy metal, those metal encyclopedias. It just goes band by band, giving you information on each band. I kind of knew this was going to be basically like a metal encyclopedia for all these doom bands. I didn't expect there to be a ton of interviews, which is fine by me. This basically tells you about all the information you would need. Let's make sure, because if this book doesn't have Black Sabbath, which it does not, I mean, that is a glaring, because I particularly think of Black Sabbath as one of the first doom bands, but, apparently there is no Black Sabbath in here, which is very odd, but you have Candlemas, so, if there was no Candlemas in here, I'd be throwing this book across the room. But it looks like there is quite a bit on Candlemas. What is that? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 5 pages on just Candlemas. So I'm going to go through this a little faster here. Just kind of briefly go through till we get to Witchcraft and Black Magic, Lee Dorian's Cathedral interview from 2005, originally published in Crypt magazine, which is cool because that is the area that I really like Cathedral, with the Garden of Unearthly Delights. I know a lot of people like earlier stuff. Lovecraftian influences in doom metal. There's a lot of Lovecraftian influences in death metal too. Let's see, I thought there was one other thing here. Oh, there is the Russian-born Alexei Evdokimov. I'm sorry if I'm ruining his name. But yeah, I think he also runs that doom metal website. I'm not 100% sure though. But photo credits and a glossary of A to Z. All right, so that is volume 1 of the doom metal Lexicanum. And the thing that brought me to technically buy all these books was this one, the Doom Metal Lexicanum Volume 2. This one has just been released this year, and this one was the real appealing one. The other one, I am so glad I purchased it, but I was on the fence of whether I was going to need that, because this is more of what I was looking for, because you have Gregor McIntosh from Paradise Lost. You have Paul Hamshaw from Peaceville Records. There's also Robert Meggs McGooligan from Academy Studios, who recorded a lot of the Anathema, My Dying Bride stuff. Aaron Stainthorpe from My Dying Bride, singer, and Martin Powell, who was the old violin player of My Dying Bride. So I was super excited to know that there was an interview with him. This is probably the first thing I'm going to read in the whole thing, because I have never read an interview with Martin Powell. So I thought that was really cool. Again, a foreword by the author. So this is going to be a lot more of the death doom kind of era, 70s, or sorry, not 70s, most of the 90s and onwards. So you're going to get a lot of Amorphous. I knew there was going to be quite a few pages on Anathema. I'm just hoping there's a lot of new stuff in both of these books that make me go, I really need to check that out. This time, though, however, instead of marking it up with a Sharpie marker like I did with the Martin Popoff books of bands that I either own everything on, or bands I own stuff from, or albums that I'm looking for, I will just create a list. Avernus, they were founded in Chicago in the early 90s. We got their Of the Fallen CD. I would still like a copy of that. I think their demo was way better than that, but there were some questionable things in there. So we're going to kind of go through this. I'm going to kind of skip pages and stuff. But this does give you a good idea of what this book is all about. And, you know, if you're interested in purchasing it. So let me kind of skip. We got The Gathering. Knew there would be a couple pages on them. There's going to be a lot of bands in here that I have never heard of before, because this guy is very thorough. So let's just jump to the band we know we want to see how many pages there are of. So here's where My Dying Bride starts. So basically half page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my chair squeaking. So 7.5 pages on just My Dying Bride. And there should be quite a bit of Paradise Lost. I purchased the Paradise Lost biography from my friend Anthony, and now I wish I would have purchased one for myself, because I just ordered Gothic, and the only album Paradise Lost I don't have is this one, and then some of these kind of mid-period ones where they went kind of more mainstream. So that's an indication of what that book looks like. And then what do we got back here? So we have the Macintosh interview, Hammy interview. So he's talking about Peaceville stuff. That guy also has his own book. So if I really like this, I might end up ordering that one too. Megs, who is the producer, especially of My Dying Bride stuff and Morning Beloved, and you get Aaron's interview. I wonder if this is a new one. It doesn't really say, but looks fairly new. Who knows? And then Martin Powell. So I wonder if The Eternal is something that he's been working on. I don't know anything that he's done since he left Cradle of Filth. So, and there's the author again. All right, so Doom Metal Lexicanum, Volume 1 and 2. Wolves Who Were Men, and then all of these black metal books. So, hopefully that gives you something of interest, and yeah, reach out to me if you're wondering any questions on these books. It will take me a while to get around to reading them, but yeah, I have a lot of reading ahead of me. So hopefully you found this helpful, and I really look forward to reading through these two. You have a good night.